Hey guys, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So I am working on canning sweet potatoes today. I went to the farmer's market and they had cases of sweet potatoes for a really good price. So I have been working on cubing them. Right now I've got them going in some boiling water here so that I can do the hot pack, because from everything I've read, sweet potatoes are supposed to be hot when you pack them. So that's what I'm going to go with. I don't know if any of you have ever cold packed sweet potatoes or not. I would be curious to know, but that is what I'm doing. So I actually have more sweet potatoes, but to be quite honest, my hands were killing me from peeling. I was going back and forth between the peeler and the knife, peeling that way, and my hands are done. And I think I have enough to fill my canner. Not positive, but this is what I'm going to can today, and then I will work on the rest tomorrow. So I've got about 5 more minutes for these to do their thing, get heated up, and then I will scoop all of the potatoes out of the hot water and put them in this bowl here. So they'll be hot, but I don't want them to keep cooking. So I'll separate them out, jar them up, ladle in liquid, and go forward with the processing. Alright, so now I'm just spooning in the hot sweet potatoes into my jars. And I don't know if I'm going to have enough jars at this point. I may need to wash a few more. So right now I'm working on filling all of my jars with the liquid. It's just some boiling water that I have here. And I'm leaving a 1-inch head space. So I'll fill them up till they're right up there. Of course, I had misplaced my canning ladle. I should have gotten it out before I started all of this, but I didn't want to waste time looking for it. So I'm just using my regular one. Getting rid of the air bubbles. Stick the potatoes back down in there. Alright. Then add a little more liquid. So we have that 1 inch. Dip it, wipe it with some vinegar, grab a lid and a ring, and to the canner. Okay, so I've got my 13 quarts of sweet potatoes in the canner, and I just noticed I have this thing turned around backwards. Oh, let me turn it around. This is the All-American canner, and it has a little notch right here in the front that helps you line everything up just right. So we're centered on the stove eye. So I'm going to line the arrow on the lid up with that notch, or just to the side of it, and then come around. Now the All-American canner, one of the wonderful things about it is there's no gaskets. So you don't have to worry about gaskets, dry rotting or anything like that. But you do have to make sure that your lid is on level because it's metal to metal. So I'm just going to kind of take a look, kind of eye level all the way around, and see what needs to be adjusted before we actually put this all the way on. So that looks pretty good. Now to tighten this down, this has these big old wing nuts, and I can't remember if I demonstrated this before or not, but I'll just go ahead and do it anyways. So I'm basically going to bring these up and just tighten them enough that they will not fall down, just barely touching anything. And I'm going to do that with all 6 of them. Alright, and then one more time, just double check. Make sure that we're pretty even all the way around. Alright. So now I'm going to take the opposite wing nuts and I'm going to tighten them down just a little bit. Opposites. Until they're snug, but not like cranked super tight, just snug. Alright, and now I'm going to turn on the stove, get this going, and just like a regular pressure canner, I'm going to let this get nice and hot, get it boiling in there, let the steam vent out for 10 minutes, and then put the weight on. And with the All-American canner, again, because there's no gasket, what I'm going to watch for is to make sure that I don't have steam escaping around the sides of the lid, because if it does, it means my lid's not on straight and I'm going to need to adjust. So that is one of the things to watch for, and really that's the hardest part of canning with an All-American canner. I have just absolutely fallen in love with using this canner. I do have a Presto canner that I've had for years and years, pressure canner that has the gauge and the gasket and all that, and I think it's a great canner. I've actually loaned it to a friend of mine for the time being, let her use it. Lehman's actually had a bunch of the All-American canners in stock again, and they were on sale, and I decided to go for it and actually order a smaller version of this, because as I got accustomed to using it, I realized how much I loved it and wished I had a smaller one as well for when I don't have double stacks of quartz. And I saw them on sale, I saw them in stock, and I went for it. So I will have 2 All-American canners, and as long as you take care of them and these are all in good shape, there's some pretty heavy-duty durable canners, so they will last a very long time. So I'm going to finish putting everything away and tidying up and wait for this to heat up. Alright you guys, so I am just opening up the lid. This is a full canner, so it took forever for it to cool down. Okay. Alright, so these were all quart jars, and they processed for 90 minutes, an hour and a half at 10 pounds pressure. 10 pounds weighted pressure, 11 pounds if you go by the gauge. And so now it's just a matter of letting them rest for about 10 minutes, and then we will take them out and let them fully cool. You want to kind of do a slightly gradual transition. You don't want any shock for temperature change or anything like that. Alright you guys, so the sweet potatoes are all out and are now cooling on the counter there. So I will just leave them overnight, and then tomorrow I will do all of the things. I will remove the rings, test the seals, label the jars, wash them, put them all away, all that good stuff. If you have any questions about the canning process with the sweet potatoes, these are very basic. The sweet potato recipes in pretty much any canning cookbook that you can find, and yeah, so pressure canning sweet potatoes. So that's it for today, you guys. Thanks for joining me here in the Homestead kitchen. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.